I'll go ahead and record this session as well. The one we had on Friday, that's already on YouTube. So the link I shared with all of you guys is the one which is already existing on YouTube. Okay, so I didn't upload another recording from Friday. That class is already on YouTube. So in case this one is not there, so I'll upload this one as well. But if there is, I'll just ignore this recording. Okay. All right, guys. So far what we have discussed is different phases of SDLC. And when I talk about SDLC, I mean planning, and then requirements, and then design, and then programming, and then finally testing, and then deployment. Okay. And when I say requirements is of course a very broad term. Requirements just doesn't mean you create an RTM and you're done. Of course not. The way you draft an RTM is a very extensive process. It's a very comprehensive process. You have to engage with the business stakeholders. You engage with the business stakeholders, ask them questions, understand the functionality, understand whatever needs to be done, understand the scope, understand each and every feature, each and every functionality, and document it. And then you create an RTM. You all know that by now. And once you create an actual RTM, you also work on the design phase. You also work on the design artifacts, the diagrammatic artifacts, use cases, process flows, swim lane diagrams, and all that stuff. Okay. And then you put everything together in one document called BRD, Business Requirements Document. And then you get approval on BRD. For the most part, business requirements document will be mostly on the business side. Mostly. It can have some technical details. Not every document is going to be business friendly. Okay, so remember that. It can have some technical details here and there, and that's okay. But for the most part, the BRD is created from a business perspective. To understand functionality, to understand the features from a business perspective. Now, once the business requirements are done, the actual business requirements are done, the next step is to create the technical requirements or the technical specifications. You'll hear this term a lot. Once business requirements are done, they're approved, you move on to the next step and write technical specs. Now, writing technical specs can be a little bit complicated. It is possible when you get hired in your first project, they may not even involve you to write technical specs. They may have some other system engineers and who may do all that stuff. But eventually, once you get a good solid understanding of the system, you have a good understanding of the infrastructure of the system, then eventually, yes, you will be expected to work on technical specs. So how to write technical specs, I want to explain it to you during today's class. Now, just look at this. You remember this EDI transaction? Do you? I hope all of you do. Okay, this is the EDI transaction. Which one? EDI 837. So one of the projects implemented in 2012 and 2013 was, I know it's been a while, it's been like 4 or 5 years now. In 2012 and 14 was HIPAA enhancement project. Everybody in the industry was using HIPAA 4010, HIPAA 4010. Everybody in the industry was using that version. What is 4010? The version number. Excuse me. This transaction, the format, the version was 4010. What is 4010? Just the version number, just like iPhone 5, iPhone 6, iPhone 7. Why 4010? I don't know. Am I supposed to know? I don't think so. Who decided this format? The government, the federal government, CMS, HIPAA. HIPAA 4010 was the version number. Of which transaction? EDI 837? No, all of them. 837, 835, 276, 277, all of them. You know the names. So that was the version number for all the transactions. Government came out and said, look, you know what, you need to upgrade your systems. What does that mean? That means you need to upgrade your EDI transactions. Upgrade to what? Upgrade to a new format. What does a new format look like? Government published a document. This is the new version of EDI 837. Now, EDI 837 or 837 and all the EDI transactions, this is the new format. Now, your job as a business analyst is to read the new format, which government has published, and then read the current format, which is 4010. The new version is 5010. Government has published a new version of EDI transactions called EDI 5010 or HIPAA 5010, HIPAA 5010. So transactions have to be upgraded from HIPAA 4010 version to HIPAA 5010 version. You upgrade the system from one version to another. How do you do it? First, you analyze how is your current system set up. If you're working for a health insurance company, that company will give you a format or a companion guide. You know the link I shared with you guys. Something similar to that. Not exactly the same thing. Something similar to that HIPAA 4010, something similar to that link. They will share a document with you which will outline the structure of this EDI 4010. That will show you this is how the current file is structured. And you look at the document published by the government. That will tell you how the EDI 5010 is structured. 4010 is something we are using right now. 5010 is something government wants us to use. When? After a certain deadline. 1st of January 2013 or 14, whatever. So your job as a business analyst is to understand the 4010 version and 5010 version, compare both of them and find the gaps. You analyze 4010 version first and then you analyze 5010 version. You compare both of them and then you identify the gaps. The gaps means the difference between the 4010 version and the 5010 version. That difference is the scope of your project. And that document is called gap analysis document. Any project, when you are upgrading system from one version to another, you always prepare a gap analysis document. That means in one column you document what the current state looks like. In the second column you will state what the future state looks like. The third column will say this is the exact difference. A minus B is the C. This is the difference. The difference is the scope of your project. The difference is something you have to implement in your system to be in compliance with the government. If you don't implement that change, you cannot do business in America as a healthcare entity. Does it make sense so far? What do you think? Theoretically, does it make sense? Okay. Now, EDI upgradation projects, like from 4010 to 5010, and very soon they will come up with a version 6010. When? I don't know. But when they will, there will be lots of jobs for people like you. It can be anytime in future, anytime. But when they do, you look at the 4010 version, you look at the 5010 version, identify the gaps, identify the difference, implement the difference. When you implement the difference, the first step is to document business requirement. Don't look at this second, this row number 3. Just look at row number 2. Now understand this. You don't even have to look at this. I mean, just try to understand one thing for now. When you implement a project, the first step is to document business requirements. You know how they look like. I showed you how the business requirements are written for Bank of America. In simple business English, you document what exactly we are trying to implement. Just simple business English. Now, look at here. You know this. You remember this SV101? You remember this from last week? If you look at the second part of SV101, this is the ICD code. ICD code for what? ICD code for treatment. Which treatment? We don't know. What that is specified by this ICD code. This alphanumeric. But what does it mean? What is this alphanumeric code for? Some treatment. And this treatment is called anesthesia. This is the code for anesthesia. Okay. Now, initially, or in 4010 version, anesthesia was reported in units. 1 unit was equivalent to 15 minutes. Okay, so if an anesthesia is given for 30 minutes, that means 2 units of anesthesia was given to the patient. Here, this will have the code for anesthesia. Here, the code will be MJ, and here will be, not MJ, but this was UN. UN was the code for units, and 2. That means 2 units of anesthesia was given to the patient. What is unit? 1 unit is 15 minutes. That was the industry standard. So it was reported this way in the transactions. Government came out and said, you know what? When you are using anesthesia here, you have to change this code. You cannot use UN, you have to use MJ. And report anesthesia in minutes. If it's 30 minutes, use 30 minutes. If it's 45 minutes, use 45 minutes. If it's just 10 minutes, use 10 minutes. Whenever you are using anesthesia here, you're reporting a claim for anesthesia. You have to use the qualifier or the code in this SV101 to SV103 as MJ, and in SV104 the actual minutes will be reported. No more units will be used. Minutes. Every minute of anesthesia will be reported. This is the change government wanted you to implement. I mean, does it make sense so far? Do you know what I'm talking about? Let me reiterate if you haven't understood. Government came out and said, if you are using EDI transactions, in your EDI transactions, you cannot report anesthesia claims in units anymore. Done. Always report anesthesia claims in minutes. And when you report anything in minutes, you change the code in SV103. This is SV102. What is SV102? The price. What is SV103? Minutes. The code. MJ means minutes. UN means units. Anesthesia has to be in minutes. That's what government wanted you to implement. Now, this is a requirement. This requirement, this column B, second row, this is coming directly from what? An RTM. You remember an RTM? Let me show you. This is coming from here. The description of the requirement. Okay, this is what it is. The one highlighted in purple or the dark blue is the business requirement. Read the business requirement. It says the incoming EDI 837 file version 5010 shall report anesthesia claim in minutes. Read this business requirement at least twice, and let me know if it makes sense. Does it make sense, guys? Are you with me so far? What does it mean? It means whenever an EDI 837 file comes into what? A system. When it is being received by the system, version 5010, you may not, I may not have discussed this, but you know, there is this place which specifies 5010, this one here, 005010x222. Ignore rest of this 5010 means this is the EDI 5010 version format. Okay, here again, look here, it says ST837. This means this is an EDI 837 file. This 5010 means it is a 5010 version of 837 file. Not very important to know, but just an FYI. Anyways, I don't want to go off topic. What it says is whenever an EDI 837 file comes into the system or is received by the system, version 5010, it shall report anesthesia claims in minutes. Very simple. From a business perspective, this is what the requirement is. Business stakeholders look at it and they say, yes, of course, yeah, we agree, yeah, makes sense. So far so good. Now, guys, understand this. From a business perspective, this requirement looks okay. But for technical developers, programmers, this doesn't mean anything. You have to specify this in exact pinpoint details that what exactly needs to be done. How will you do it? You will convert this business requirement into technical requirement. Which document you will document this? We'll come to that part later. So don't worry about it. Just remember one thing. Business requirement here will be converted into a technical requirement. This business requirement is being converted to technical requirement so that the programmer can fully understand that what exactly needs to be done. Now, remember, read this very carefully. Technical requirement says for SV101-02 equals to KL7645. In segment SV101, second part, when it is equal to KL7645. Okay. SV101. This is SV101. The second part. This is the second part. KL7645. No, this is not the one. SV101. This is all SV101 in yellow. The second part is KL7645. Okay. You are telling the system in SV101, second part, if that is equal to KL7645, then the program EDI 837 underscore CLM underscore cust.sh. This is the name of the program. What is this? This is the name of the program which processes EDI claims. Do you need to know this? Would you know this? The question is no. Then who will tell you this? The programmers. You will ask them, hey, which is the program name which processes EDI files? He'll ask you, okay, which EDI file? Oh, EDI 837. Yeah, this is the program name. They'll give it to you. You'll write it here. You don't have to remember it. You don't. So let's read this again. For SV101-02 equals to KL7645, the program shall check if SV103 equals to MJ. If this value is KL7645, the program should check if SV103 is MJ or not. If it's not, transaction will be denied. So if this is KL7645, SV103 should be MJ. If it's not, program will deny this this EDR transaction. If condition is true, that means if this is MJ, this condition is true, the program will retrieve data from SV104. So we are telling the system, we are telling the programmers, hey guys, when you receive an EDI file, check if SV101 second part is KL7645. If that is true, make sure SV103 is MJ. If SV103 is MJ, then system will take the data from SV104. System will take this data if this is MJ. Read this. If condition equals to true, the program will retrieve data from SV104 and process as minutes for claim adjudication. If condition equals to false, the claim denial message, anesthesia claims can only be reported in minutes. Read this third row, second column at least couple of times and let me know if it makes sense. Does it make sense, guys? Read it again. You want me to repeat it? I surely can. I'm telling the system that in this segment, if this is the value, what do you mean by SV101-02? What do you mean by this? That means if this part is KL7645, what about this? Is this KL7645? No. What does that mean? That means it is some other claim, some other treatment. But if this is KL7645, just check whether SV103 is MJ or not. If this is MJ, that means this claim is reporting anesthesia for minutes. This means this is anesthesia. If this is not anesthesia, then fine, then it's okay. You don't have to worry about it. But if this is anesthesia, you're not going to tell the system if it's anesthesia. You're going to just tell the system what the ICD code is. If this value is this, make sure SV103 is MJ. So you're telling the system, if this value is this, the program will check SV103 is MJ or not. If it is MJ, if it is true, it is MJ, then program will retrieve data from SV104. Then program will retrieve data from SV104. What is SV104? This is SV101, this is SV102, SV103, SV104. Rain says, sorry, bit confused. Okay, what are you confused about? What is confusing you? Go on. Come on, ask me questions. I don't want to proceed unless this is crystal clear. SV101-02 range. No, it's not the range. No, no, no. Whatever you see in yellow is entire SV101. Do you remember? Yes or no? Do you remember? Everything you see in yellow is SV101. This is the first part of SV101. This is the second part of SV101. The third part, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh part of SV101. We are still at SV101. So SV101-02. If this confuses you, let's do colon. SV101:02. What does that mean? SV101's second part. If this value is KL7645, the program which is processing this file will check whether SV103 is MJ or not. This has to be MJ. That means this claim for anesthesia, first of all, it will check whether this is KL7645 or not. If it is KL7645, that means this is anesthesia claim. Now, if this is anesthesia claim, system will check SV103 is MJ or not. If this is MJ, that means this is anesthesia claim and is being reported in minutes. If it is not being reported in minutes, that means system has not upgraded transaction to 5010 level, and this transaction will be denied. Does it make sense? So I'm telling the system, second part of SV101, if this is the value, this program, it's a confusing name, but don't worry about it, shall check if SV103 is MJ. If this is this, that means this is anesthesia. SV103 is MJ. Check this. If this condition is true, program will retrieve data from SV104. What is SV104? Yellow is 1. This is 2. Green is 2. This is SV103. SV104. That means if this is MJ, system will retrieve data from SV104. And then do what? And process the claim and process as minutes for claim adjudication. Adjudication means claim processing. And process as minutes for claim adjudication. Make sense, guys? Pavitra says, what if the condition is false and the claim is rejected or denied? Will the provider has to change the units? How will the denial be communicated to provider and whomever it may concern? Yeah. Read the requirement. Condition is false. Claim denial message will be anesthesia claims can only be reported in minutes. This claim will be denied, and this will be the error message highlighted in bold. Anesthesia claims can only be reported in minutes. Make sense? If condition is true, it will take it as minutes and process the claim. If condition is false, it will show the denial message. Does it make sense, guys? Does it answer your question? Pavitra, I'm asking you. Then should the provider resend the claim correcting it? Yes, yes, of course. System will deny this claim as long as this condition is not met. If this condition is not true, system will not will not approve this claim. Somebody has to fix it, and I'll get to that part. So don't worry. Who will fix it and how it will be fixed? We'll get to that part. My intent for today is for you to understand that how business requirements are converted into technical specs. How they are written? They can be written only if you have a good solid understanding of the system. Okay, so you write the business requirements and you convert them into technical specs. You want to go through another example? Ignore everything in pink. Just look at this requirement, 7 and 8, row 7 and 8. Government came out with another requirement. It says, whenever you are sending an EDI transaction, whenever there is an address, any address, where are the addresses here? A whole bunch of addresses. N4. N4 usually has the address, right? This, N3 and N4. 1212 Depot Drive, Chicago, Illinois. This is the address. If you, hold on. Let's do this. Hold on. This is one address. Okay, in yellow. Not in yellow. Let's do another color. Sorry. Let's do purple like this. Okay. And then here's another address. And then here's another address. Here's another address. N3 and 4 segment. You remember, if you don't go through the recording of the first class of EDI, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, there are a whole bunch of addresses here. Provider, payer, patient, subscriber, somebody's address is there. So government said, look, if you're reporting address in your EDI transaction, make sure zip code is mandatory 9 digits. You know, you may have seen addresses only with 5-digit zip codes because that's the first 5 digits. Technically, the zip codes are 9-digit zip codes. Okay, sometimes they're specified as 9 digits, sometimes they're not. Usually people use only 5 digits and that works fine. Okay, but government said in EDI transactions, you have to make sure the zip codes are 9-digit zip codes. 5-digit will be rejected. So in these addresses, this is the zip code. This is the address, 1212 Depot Drive, Chicago, Illinois, city and state, and this is the zip code. So government said use all 9-digit zip codes. We usually the first 5. If you remember, if you look at your zip code, we usually just use the 5 digits. But technically behind the scenes it's a 9-digit zip code and then there is a dash in between. So government said you have to use 9-digit zip codes, else you cannot do business in America as a healthcare entity. So if you look at this, all zip codes are being reported as 9 digits. So if you look at the requirement, the incoming EDI 837 file version 5010 shall contain 9-digit zip codes for all respective addresses. Read this again. Incoming EDI 837 file version 5010 shall contain 9-digit zip codes for all respective addresses. Make sense? Government is just telling you whenever you receive an EDI 837 file, if it's version 5010, it should contain 9-digit zip code whenever you are receiving an address. As simple as that. Now, if this business requirement has to be reported into a technical requirement, how will you write it? The program, this is the name of the program. Okay, don't have to remember, just ask the developer, he'll tell you. The program shall check for 9 numeric digits for all respective N403 segments. Read this, just first paragraph. No, sorry. Just read the first paragraph, guys. The program EDI CLM cus.sh shall check for 9 numeric digits for all respective N403 segments. So government is saying, or you are telling the system, for all N401, N402 and then N403. For all N403 segments, all N403, it will be mandatory 9 digits. As simple as that. The program shall check for 9 numeric digits for all respective N403 segments. For incomplete zip codes, the program will reject the claim with the error message. Zip code should contain 9 numeric characters or 9 numeric digits or whatever you want to say. Does it make sense, guys? Read the row number 8 twice. You're just telling the system, when the program processes this file, check for 9 digits in N403 segment. If there are 9 digits in the N403, fine. If it's incomplete, means less than 9, error message will be displayed. You are actually spoon feeding the developer to write the code for each and every segment in such a way that your system will be upgraded to 5010 version. Does it make sense, guys? What do you think? You are just telling the system, you are just telling the developer that write the code in such a way that whenever the program, what program? This program. Who told you this name? The developer. You're not supposed to know any of this. This program or this program processes an EDI file. It will check for 9 digits in location N403. If there are 9 digits, that's fine. If there are no 9 digits or less than 9 digits, it will display an error message. What's the error message? Zip code should contain 9 numeric characters. This is how technical requirements or technical specs are written. Now let's go back to this requirements. If you remember, I promised you that while we were discussing business requirements, you remember this slide, right? Business requirements, and then we discussed requirements gathering, JD session. I told you that I'll come back to this point. Okay. Now, the difference between business and technical requirements. We didn't discuss this back then. We are discussing this now. The difference between business and technical requirement is, forget non-functional for now. The difference between business and technical requirement is, business requirements tell you what needs to be developed. Okay. Business requirements tell you what needs to be developed. What needs to be developed here? That anesthesia claims will be in minutes. All the zip codes will be in 9 digits. This is the business requirement. Row number 2, row number 7. Business. We are just telling you what you need to develop. Technical requirements tell you how it will be developed. How. Business requirements is what. Technical requirements is how. How. This is how. It will be developed by checking this particular location, SV101, second part. If this is ICD value, check for SV103 equals to MJ. If that is MJ, then use it as minutes in SV104 and process the claim. If it is not, display this error message. Check for another thing. Check for N403 segment. If it's 9 characters, fine. If it's not 9 characters, display an error message. So business requirements tell you what needs to be developed. Just in simple business English, this is what we are trying to do. This is what we are developing. Technical requirements tell you to the grassroots level that how it will be developed, how it will be accomplished, how we will program the system in such a way that it will be accomplished successfully. Make sense, guys? This is an interview question right there. What versus how? Make sense? So technical requirements discuss the technical details of each business requirement. For each business requirement, you are going to the technical level now. You're going to the technical level and then discussing all the details. And once, according to the approved technical requirements, the coders and programmers will write the code using this language directly. This language, row number 3 or row number 8, this directly will be translated into a workable program or a code, and the programmers will code the system. Does it make sense, guys? This is how you cover technical aspects. Does it make sense or it doesn't make sense? Come on, guys, let me know. Be active. Pavitra has a question. Will the technical requirement follow the business requirements in an RTM, or is it written in a separate spreadsheet, in a separate document, which looks pretty much like an RTM? It won't have as many columns like an RTM, but you try to keep it separate. Okay, you try to keep it separate. I have personally created technical specs with just technical ID and technical requirement. TR1 for BR1, I would have TR1, BR1.1, TR1.1, TR1.2, TR1.2, 1.2.1, so on, and the description. Whatever is the status of this and the priority of this is the same for the priority for technical requirements. You don't need to specify technical components and all this stuff. Test case number, no. Technical specs is a cheat sheet. Write this down, write this down. Besides this presentation, write this down. You already have this presentation anyways. Technical specs is the cheat sheet using which programmers write code. Go on, say it during the interview. Say it. I hope they get impressed. If I am interviewing somebody, I would be impressed with that answer, to be honest. Again, it's a personal preference. I don't speak for everyone. So this is the business and technical requirement. Does it make sense, guys? Now, look at row number 2. This is business, technical, business, technical. Whatever we have discussed so far is related to a functionality of a system. So what if it's a healthcare system? There are all kinds of systems in the world: healthcare, finance, retail, banking, mortgage. And the requirements we're talking about at the moment are related to the functionality of the system. These are functionalities. That claims should have this, claims should have that info, claims should have this info. At business level or technical level, doesn't matter. We are talking about functionality. These requirements, these business or technical requirements, are called functional requirements because we are talking about functionality of the system. This is a feature, this is a functionality of a healthcare system. These are functional requirements. There are some more requirements called non-functional requirements. Non-functional requirements are the requirements which support the system in the back end. They have nothing to do with functionality. They are not talking about features or functionalities. They talk about the different parameters of the system, or the security part of the system, or the speed part of the system, or um, um, I'm sorry, I'm just not remembering the right word, but the integrity of the system, the data integrity. I am sending an email from my server to your server. I'm sending an email to you. Sending an email is a functionality. But while that email is being sent, it is going through a secure internet connection. It is being encrypted. It is being decrypted. There are some networking standards. They have nothing to do with functionality. They are just there to support the system, to make sure system is doing its job. These requirements in the backend, these things in the backend which support the system and make sure system is running smoothly, are called non-functional requirements. Row number 12 and 13. I use the word Mac web system. Let's not call it web system, just call it, okay. Let's call it claim processing system. The claim processing system will process data at 2000 kbps. Does it have anything to do with functionality here? No. We have a system. Every system has a different processing speed. Some processes are fast, some are slow. Do they have to do with the functionality though? No. Is it about a feature and functionality? No. It's about a processing speed. Security standards, processing speeds, all these things in the back end which support the system to make sure the system is doing its job smoothly are called non-functional requirements. The claim processing system will process data at 2000 kbps. Government has nothing to do with this. Government doesn't care. Government says just implement these features and functionalities like these two. Whatever is this processing speed, it's up to you. When hospitals send all the claims to the insurance company, they put together all the claims. Preeti has a question, can we call non-functional requirements as qualities of software? Well, yeah, qualities and different, do you want to know the right term? Let's call them performance parameters. Let me write this in the chat box and note this down. Performance parameters, which can be security, processing speed, data integrity. You know what data integrity is? Let's simplify this. Whenever we exchange data, all this, when we use our websites, banking websites and all that, and I am trying to transfer money from one bank to another, all those transactions are encrypted so that nobody can just hack into them. I mean, these days hackers are even more smarter. They hack into even more sophisticated systems, and even these banking websites get hacked. But they really try hard to make sure their firewalls and they're encrypted and they don't get hacked. Okay, all the firewalls, antivirus software standards. Yeah, that's another one. Antivirus protection. All these things, they're called non-functional requirements. Are you supposed to gather all of them? No. Many cases you won't even hear about them. Some network engineers, system architects will gather these, will document these, and somehow slip into your BRD or slip this into some other project document. You won't even know about this. I have in some cases personally documented these because those network engineer guys and all that, they said, you know, we are not very good with documentation and stuff. We don't do stuff like that. Can you document this for us? I said, okay, here's the thing. You keep dictating each and every word which I need to write, and I'll just write it down. Okay, I'm sharing my screen with everyone. You can see what I'm writing, just like now, and I'm documenting requirements, security requirements and all this. I don't know what this means. I have no idea what this stands for, but you keep telling me, I'll keep documenting it. So I have done it. Will you be doing it? Very unlikely. Claim processing speed will have this. It will be encrypted with that standard. It will have an antivirus software version number so and so. All this stuff is non-functional. System is a big infrastructure. It's a big, huge system. Okay. There are many things which are done to support that system. What are those things? The ones you can see in this on the screen right now. So, any requirement which pertains to the functionality of the system is called functional requirement. Maybe at the business level, maybe at the technical level. Something which supports the performance or which supports the performance parameters of the system are called non-functional requirements. Like this. These are just two examples, vague examples, made up. I just made up. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't discuss the second one. I was saying, you know, let's say St. Mary's Hospital, when they're trying to send these claims, okay, this is just one claim. They'll send 5,000 claims to Blue Cross Blue Shield. They put together all the claims and send the claims to the, they send all the claims to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross Blue Shield, what they'll do is they'll put together all the claims from St. Mary's Hospital for that particular day, put them together in one file. The system will do it and will start processing at a specific time in the evening, like this. Claim processing will start the claim processing job at 8 p.m. PST. It will receive all the claims up to 7:55 p.m., put them together in one file, and will start processing just like what we discussed on Friday, that it will go through series of steps, edits and reference check and patient data check, provider data check, all those checks and edits and all that stuff. It will start at 8 p.m. PST. It will take a couple of hours and it will process millions of claims in those 2 hours, and it will show the results in next 2 hours or next morning. So claim processing will start the claim processing job at 8 p.m. PST. Does it have anything to do with functionality? No. Do you think government cares about stuff like this? No. Then why are we doing this? Because these things are also critical to the performance of the system. They just talk about performance of the system, not the feature, not the functionality. Make sense, guys? Any thoughts, questions, comments? What do you think? The format of these technical requirements is not important. It's just requirement ID and requirement description. That's it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I think I interrupted someone. Go ahead.
No, that's true. So do you mean to say that the technical requirements, they are also functional requirements?
Yes, of course. These are functionalities. They're related to functionality. Yes.
Okay. So if the interviewer asks, so tell me the difference between functional and non-functional, so we can just say whatever the difference between the technical and the non-functional requirements are?
You don't have to go to the technical. Just say that any requirement which pertains to the functionality of the system or the feature of the system is called a functional requirement. It can be at the business level, it can be at the technical spec level, like this. These are all,
Right.
this is the same thing, but for different people. This
Yes.
is for business stakeholders, this is for developer, but they both
Developer.
pertain to the functionality. But there are some requirements which pertain to performance of the system, security, processing speed, and data integrity part of the system, which make sure system is doing its job smoothly. All those performance parameters are called non-functional requirements because they don't pertain to any functionality. Make sense?
Yes. Thanks.
What do you think, guys? How are the TR trace then? Should we even have to trace them, and BRD tracing would suffice? You know, here's the thing. I'll tell you one thing. You know why tracing is done at this level? So that business people or project managers can trace the progress of the project. Okay. Developers will come back to this and we'll keep changing the status of each and every requirement. It's up to developers. If developers want this status and priority and all this stuff to be included for technical requirements as well, okay, you can add another column. You can just copy and paste the same progress and priority for those. The reason this status tracking is done at this RTM is so that the business stakeholders or the project manager, not the stakeholders, but the project manager, since this is a business friendly document, he can come here and track the progress of the project. He can see there are 500 requirements and 470 of them are completed. 30 of them are being tested, and after this our project is done. It's a project manager friendly document because he doesn't understand too much of technology either. You do, developers do, he doesn't. So that's why status is tracked mostly at the business level. Mostly. This thing, it's just a cheat sheet for a developer. But again, let me tell you this. It depends on what format, what template your company is using. If the technical requirements template has all that info as well, include all that info. It depends. Be prepared. Format is not important. Trust me, format is just not important, guys. All of you will get jobs eventually, and then you'll be working for different companies, probably, most probably. And when you do, every company is going to have a different template, which will be just a different variation of each other. That I can tell you for sure. And when you see the template, you populate the information. All right. What other questions do you have? Any thoughts, questions, comments? Come on, guys. All HIPAA CMS rules should be implemented by both provider and payer? Yes. Yes, that's a good question. Yes. Provider, the healthcare provider, hospital, will make sure he starts using MJ in SC103. He has to code his system. Okay. He has to update the ICD codes to this KL7645 for anesthesia. Make sure SC103 is updated by MJ. And in SC104, minutes are used. Here. Who is sending this file will make sure he uses the right code, ICD-10 codes. He uses MJ here for anesthesia, and whatever information he puts there, he uses minutes. So who is preparing this file has to update his system. Whoever is receiving this file has to update his system. That's a good question. I'm sorry, I should have brought that up. So both the parties, sending and receiving this data, have to update the system. There is another question, Vasundhara. Is there any companion guide available for us to read 4010 to 5010 conversion? Just to read no more examples. Look it up online. You'll find something. Look it up. But these two examples are good examples. You want to know another example of ICD? HIPAA 5010 change. Wait. Hold on. You see the name over here? This person, Karen Smith, right? Karen Smith. This is the name, right? Let me highlight this in different color now. Karen Smith. There was this Cole Smith. Okay, these two guys. This was their middle initial, like J. Karen J. Smith. Okay, hold on. And this is your middle initial, like Junior. Okay, so these are their names, right? Initially, the limit was 35 characters for first name, last name, and middle initial. 35 characters. Government came out and said, make it 50. 50 characters. Make it 50 characters. It's one of the changes. So, you write the requirement saying NM 101, 102, and 103. So, NM 103, NM 104, and NM 105 should have a combined limit of 50 characters. NM 101, NM 102, NM 103. NM 103, NM 104, NM 105 should have a combined limit of 50 characters. This was another change. So there were some changes here and there. There were some changes. Another change was the St. Mary's Hospital, right? This is the provider who provides healthcare, right? This NM109 is the NPI number, National Provider Identifier. Every doctor, every hospital has a unique NPI number. This NPI number, some people use it, some people did not use it. Government said everybody has to use it. If this information is not there, reject the EDI transaction. Reject it right there. We don't care. We're not going to process this claim. Make sense, guys? So these are some examples. And based on these examples, you do the requirements and all that stuff. Now, the question is, how do you test it? Once you implement it, how do you test it? You create this EDI file. This is a file, right? This is a file. You keep this value as KL7645. You change this to UN. And drop this claim in the system, where the programmers will show you how to drop a claim file in the system so that it gets processed. Okay, you drop this file in the system, claim processing system. What system? Test system. You are testing, right? You implement a change, you test it. You are on the test server. You change this to UN and drop it in. Let's see if it gets processed. If it gets processed, that means the test case you have prepared for this has failed. This should not have been processed successfully. This should have failed because you used UN for this ICD code. You should have used minutes. And now you prepare another file, you change it to MJ, and then process the claim. Does this process is right? Good. If it processes successfully, that means the system is working the way it should. If you change it back to UN and drop it in the claim processing system and it successfully processes it, that is a bug. That is a defect. That means developer did not do his job right and did not program the system right according to HIPAA 5010, requirement. This is how you test these things. You want to test this? Cole Smith, increase this name to 51 characters. Let's see if it processes. If it processes, that means this is wrong. System is not working. There is a bug. There is a defect. 51 characters are not allowed. 50 are allowed. 50 is the limit. You reduce by 1. You process the claim again. If the system processes 50 characters, that means it's working fine. It should have been extended to 50, not more than 50. But this is another check that the system is accepting names more than 35. But is it accepting more than 50? No. That means the limit has been set at 50. Programmers have done their job. There is no bug. There is no defect. If there's a bug or the defect, it will still allow you to have more than 50 characters. That is a bug. That is a defect. There's a limit, 50. That's it, done. You create a defect. So for all these scenarios, whatever changes you're making here, you create test cases and test scripts. Here's the zip code, right? Process this claim. Use this file and process this claim. Does it process successfully? If it does, that's a defect. That means programmers did not code the system correctly. It is still accepting claims with 5 digits. Government does not want this. Government does not like it. It's wrong. It's bad. It's a defect. Now, change it to this. 7 characters. Does it allow it? It should not allow. Only 9 characters are allowed. Make sense, guys? Based on these requirements, you create test cases and test scripts. Do you know what test cases and test scripts are? I hope that you haven't forgotten yet. Let me open the file. Oh boy, why does it take forever? It's opening, but anyways, I hope you know what it is, how they're written. Oh, here it is. Here are the test cases, right? TC1.1, TC1.2, TC1.3. These are the test scripts. You remember? This is just a requirement. These are test cases and test scripts. And this is how the defects are created. The defect log report. This is how it is done. This is what you do as a BA. You document all the scenarios here. User input, the EDI 837 file shall contain, or not shall contain, is populated with UN in the SV103. You know what I mean? I'm telling the system, or I'm writing in the test case, that the EDI 837 file is populated with SV103 as UN or MJ. When, of course, SV101 second part is KL7645. You want to write this? Let's write this. Let me show you. The EDI 837 version 5010 file will be populated with SV103 equals to UN when SV101 colon second part is hold on, KL7645. is KL7645. Within parentheses you can write read this. Read the highlighted part. The EDI 837 version 5010 file will be populated with SE103 equals to UN even when is KL7645 is anesthesia. Should this test case pass or fail in an ideal scenario? Come on, answer this. Give me an answer, guys. What do you think? Fail. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Varun says fail. Yes. This is how you write the test case here. In another scenario, this will be changed to MJ. You know, in another case, what you'll do? You'll pick up some random code. Not MJ, not UN. You'll say ABC. Let's do ABC. Let's see what happens. You know, this is the file, right? Don't use UN. Don't use MJ. Let's do ABC. Let's see if the system is even looking at this or not. I hope it does, and it is making sure this is MJ. If it's not, it denies it. So this is how you write it. Make sense, guys? You know what I'll do? Hold on. Let me just copy this and okay, I'll just copy it here so that you know how they are written. Where is that? I just copied this so that you understand the format or the language people use. Okay, it's nothing too crazy, but okay, just for your reference. These are the requirements and these are the test cases. I will save this document and I'll share it with you. What do you think, guys? Thoughts, questions, comments? Go on. Does it make sense? Does not make sense? Easy, doable, very hard? Idiotic? I don't know. I don't know about your opinion. What do you think? It's different for everyone.
I have a question with non-functional requirement too.
Okay.
We understand that there will be a business analyst for all these business requirements and all the functional requirements. So will there be any analyst for non-functional requirements, or it's again another version of job for the BA itself?
Well, as I said, that in most cases you won't even see these requirements coming in. They will be documented by some system engineers or some network people. Okay, so these are not actually, these requirements, these two, non-functional, are not even result of any requirements gathering session. These are just some standards which are communicated by the network team or the system architect team. So in many cases you won't even hear about them. That team will document it and will just somehow insert it in one of your documents. Some cases they will ask you, hey, you know what, can you please, we'll tell you what to write, and then you just write it. None of that will make sense to you, but they are dictating you word by word and then you are just writing it. And that's all it is. So there is no analyst for non-functional requirements. No, I've never heard of that position. If any interviewer says, oh, have you worked as an analyst for non-functional requirements? I mean, that will be definitely a biggest joke I've ever heard. There's no analyst. No.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and in 9 out of 10 times, whatever has happened with me is I didn't even know about these requirements, security requirements and all these requirements. And all of a sudden, in our project documentation, they have been inserted by someone. Okay, like, so let me show you. BRD, where is the BRD? In a BRD, right? For example, this is my BRD. Okay, no, let's do another one. This is the BRD. So somebody will come in and include that section and will just update or to date version number 1.8, and the description will say non-functional requirements inserted, and their name, they'll just put their name there. And all of a sudden you see there are some non-functional requirements in your document. Okay, that's fine. These are just some standards. They are being communicated by network team to you or to the team. They're just documenting it and telling that, okay, this is the standard. Any questions, guys? 50-10, 40-10 changes were same all over the country? Yes, all across the United States, all across. Every entity was doing it, every one of them. See, anytime a small change like this comes in, every company has to implement it, so they hire people. So it's good for you. Okay, I'll stop the recording here.